So people were very excited that we had an episode come out on the 25th, and it is now the 1st. So nothing stops us from releasing a new episode.
Nothing stops. We're like the post office.
But you don't listen to as many podcasts as I do. I listen to a lot, and there were a lot of re-release episodes this week because it's the holidays. Not here.
First of all, no one wants a remastered bonus clip like when you're watching your favorite sitcom and they just do like, hey, remember how we all met? Like flashback episode. You're like, cool. Greatest hits. Consistency wins the game.
Yes.
Consistency and giving a shit.
I will say, not that we wouldn't ever do it, but like if you were stranded in another state or whatever, but we usually know where you're going to be and we plan ahead, and you're welcome.
I had a baby this year and we still didn't miss an episode.
It's so funny because like Earwolf is so nice. They'll reach out and be like, hey, let us know if you're missing if you're going to not be able to do any episodes or if you're not going to be able to record ads. And I was like, no, we're good. Like when you have the second baby, I was like, no, she recorded throughout her first baby. So I think we're good. Thanks though.
Also, I feel like there are people who do podcasts because the thing that they want to do doesn't yield what they want it to yield. And while I have a lucrative stand-up career, I believe a podcast is a different thing and it needs just as much energy, not just as much, but it deserves energy and attention versus me. I will just tell you right now, I cannot stand the podcast ads for other podcasts where it's like, it's just us, we're hanging out, and we talk about everything from friends to boys, whatever's in between. I was like, oh, you don't have a format and you're just hoping you guys blow up for no reason. Got it. And it's not like we have this like rock solid billion listener format, but I don't think we're the kind of podcast where it's like, and whatever comes up in news, pop culture, hot tea, we're everything in between.
Do you want to talk about how we were ahead of the news cycle, or is it too down note for New Year's Day that we were?
Oh, by the way, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's 2025.
Happy? It's here. Ever since COVID, it's like, well, here we go.
And then I'm wearing my Christmas PJs over a t-shirt.
Is that Charisma Carpenter?
No, it's Megan Fox and Jennifer's Body.
I couldn't see it. Okay.
But this is the Grinch.
I love the Grinch.
You love Cindy Lou Who.
I love Jim Carrey as the Grinch, and it's only now as an adult that I'm realizing how much of my energy with my children is Grinchy.
That movie with Christine Baranski as Martha May Whovier. Oh, yeah. What a film. What a great film.
And by the way, having rewatched it, a very hectic, weirdly lit, dark, and I'm not talking content-wise, but like actually dark green. You can't even see half the movie half the time.
It's strange.
It is chaotic.
It's very, which is good. The Grinch is chaotic. He's got a lot going on, that guy.
Very dark. You almost want to like brighten your TV so you can see all the garbage.
But here's what we were ahead on. We were defending Blake Lively when the initial news cycle came out, slamming her. And now a new news cycle has come out saying the slamming of the first news cycle was done, a lot of it, by the same lawyers who defended Johnny Depp. So, that's the company.
Publicity team, not even lawyers. Like
right.
Crisis PR.
Right. Yes, the crisis people. Yeah. So
I'm so tired of the internet, which is largely made up of young people and absolute women-hating idiots, rediscovering that women can have a reliable narrative. I'm so tired of people every few years being like, and it turns out because she's not the perfect victim, people didn't believe her. I'm like, you included, you torch-wielding bitches.
Right. You can dislike someone and they're still being victimized, even if they're annoying, is the problem.
I guess. Like, do you know her personally?
Right.
Like, I'm sorry some interview wasn't great. Like, who's batting 1,000? Oh, that's right. Every man giving an interview. Because men get the pass of like, he's likable. He raped someone. That's okay.
The best was not the best, very sad and upsetting, but there was some thread on Reddit like, oh, where'd these actors go that we loved? And basically every single one they listed who was a woman. Why haven't we seen this woman? Why haven't we seen? Oh, every single time it was Harvey Weinstein, Ashley Judd, Mira Sorvino. I was like, every single one of them you could trace back to, you haven't seen him in a movie in 2 decades because of Harvey Weinstein. That's where they went.
Well, and to your point, not to kick this off on a sad note.
No, I really am sorry what I did for New Year's.
2025 is just going to be running on the fumes of 2024. There's that whole documentary, which I don't know if it was huge, but I saw it, called On the Record, which is basically about Russell Simmons' sexual abuse / rape allegations of all these women, Black women in hip hop and rap, like in the industry, not even necessarily rappers, I'd have to remember, but there's this woman who leads the charge in this documentary, and she was like, I'm gonna say a rap producing prodigy, but like with Def Jam, like in the late 80s, early 90s, like she could spot rappers, like she knew what was hot before it was hot. And he like wrecked her career by sexually assaulting her and many other women. And so it is this thing you look back and you're like, oh, this is a systematic issue. I don't know why we're talking about this, but I really get tired of people looking back like, oh, we shouldn't have done that to Britney Spears. It's like, but you did. Where's your culpability?
Yeah.
Oh, we shouldn't have had these body images, but you did. And it's not like you can get mad at just one person. Like we feed into a culture.
Yeah.
I think people just sorely lack context. Sometimes I'll post a clip and like I may have been the first comic, maybe not ever, but in a long while, to make a joke about something, some dating thing or something. And people will be like, not funny. I'm like, this is 11 years old. Like, do you think that my hair just goes from short to long every few days?
You have so many wigs.
I just love a wig. Anyway. But it's the new year. I hope you had a lovely holiday season. Lovely Merry Christmas.
Now what? Now what's left? Now you're going back to work tomorrow? I am.
Always be working. I really did try to like take it slow. The other day we built a fire. It's normally
outside or inside?
Inside. Just use some old furniture. No, it's normally too hot here in Southern California, but it was cold and we checked the weather because usually like, ooh, it's chilly, turn on the heat. And then it's like 85 degrees by noon. And it stayed in the low 60s and we built a fire and it made it difficult. Like to work, like I just kept curling up on the floor. The crackling was so soothing. I was like, what if I was just like a yoga girl and I just like drank my coffee for a while and stretch? No, you can't do stretching.
Did Tianfu like it?
Robert? I don't know. She's always near me, so who knows if she liked it or if she didn't.
Right. If she was near the fire, it's because you were near the fire.
The tough thing is, there's a lot of holiday parties and a lot of events. I have like a Vanity Fair Golden Globes party. So you can't totally pig out over the holidays because you have an outfit that was tailored in Hungary for you and you still don't fit into it. So you have to get it retailored here and have them let out the pants.
You better tell me what celebrities you see. You always keep it so close to your vest that I'll mention a celebrity and you're like, oh yeah, I was just talking to them.
I was just talking to that person. Well,
I'm like, excuse me?
Somebody was asking me. They were like, oh, you live in LA. Where the hell was I? You live in LA. Like, do you just see, oh, that's right. Our one of the guys we worked with in Okinawa. That's right. I was with the USO prior to Christmas. Did incredible shows in Okinawa. If you can go to Okinawa, go. It is, people kind of look at me weird when I say this. Okinawa is what Hawaii would look like if the Japanese had won World War II. Because it's like it's their Japanese Hawaii. It's very cool. Everything's Japanese. Of course, there's a lot of American stuff because of our troops there, but it's like 60,000 troops live there. It is gorgeous. It's like this tropical paradise. Anyway, someone was asking me like, are you just with celebrities all the time? And I was like, no. And I was like, there's a certain echelon of celebrity that like you just don't have access to. Like I'll run into the bulk of people from comedy or TV shows, but like I'm not seeing Matt Damon. Like he's not just out for me to see.
Right. I heard someone talking about being in the same room as Angelina Jolie. And I feel like that would be like.
Your face just starts melting. Yeah. I'd be like, what's happened here that we're in the same room? Either she's not doing well or I'm doing great. Right. And if you're listening to this, coming up in a few weeks, I'll be in Vancouver. And so we're excited for that. And then, of course, coming up right after that, we have Pittsburgh and Cleveland. That makes a good holiday gift, those tickets. Because I haven't been to Pittsburgh in a while, so it's going to be great.
There have been several messages on the Patreon, on the Instagram, people who got tickets to your shows from their loved ones for the holidays.
That's what I'm talking about. Speaking of gifts, this was our gift from Sirius.
Mine's not up here. It's downstairs.
Okay, it's for the camera. This is a little bonus thing. This is a Sirius XM branded Stanley mug. I'm a white millennial. It had to happen at some point. It's not even white. It's like a eagle's
Like a
nest cream colored. I morally don't know if I can use this given that I already own something with which to drink a beverage out of, but this is my flex. I don't know if I could be seen with this in public because I think this is antithetical to everything that I seemingly stand for.
I'm going to have mine in public.
I think women, here's what is upsetting to me about Stanley culture. It's also the same types of women who get like inexpensive Botox and do the face mask and all the sleep things. You are creating wrinkles by sipping nonstop on this straw. That's why I prefer a Yeti or just something where the water flows out of the lid, because you're constantly like making like a tiny butthole with your mouth. Fine line, fine line. Our mouths weren't meant to be pursed this much. We're not babies, but it is a beautiful cup. And I'll probably just like leave it around my house. People be like, what is that? I'll be like, oh, Sirius gave it to me.
I
We're
work
partners.
with Sirius, yeah.
I work in there, yeah.
That's
Mine
what it
got
nibbled a little bit by Rizzoli, the straw. So I had to put the straw away.
Yeah. So there's that occupational hazard. That's what branded stuff is all about. Like, oh, Netflix just gave me these flip-flops. Like, I just work with companies. Oh, that's just a Boeing eye mask.
I was just sitting downstairs with a blanket Netflix gave you probably 5 to 6 years ago, maybe longer, that I have kept. Like, I know it's not good to say, but I miss just free random stuff that I would never buy. Like, I love taking your cast offs. You get so much free stuff, or you did. Like, you have unsubscribed from a lot of the types of free stuff you get. Like back when they still did physical screeners for movies,
you were
anymore. Like, don't send me these. I don't. Please. And I was like, no, send them. I need them. I need to keep them.
I need to build my sex dome out of DVDs.
Movie screeners.
The amount of things of like whole unwrapped gifts that I give to our nanny and my assistant. I'm like, do you want 8 bottles of like Whispering Angel or like celebrity branded canned wine?
Yes. You would get like blankets and puzzles and mugs and shirts and hats. Oh, I love
Santa
it all.
keeps a list of naughty girls and boys. I keep a list of all the people who didn't give me a gift this season.
Oh.
I keep a list.
What are you going to do to me? I didn't give you anything.
Okay, so I was going to give you, I got you something. Did you not get it?
Did I get something from you?
I sent you something. You didn't get it yet?
No, it could still be coming.
I don't think it is. I sent you a gift and my dad and my mom, and it was all stuff from Japan, but I sent it from home.
Yeah.
But then my mail lady was like, she's like, I wanted to tell you yesterday the things that you sent may be too bulky in an envelope because I'm a grown woman that doesn't know how to send something.
Because you know what happens in the machines?
It gets
this happened. I remember as a child, I sent someone a chapstick and it didn't get to them. It was devastating to me because the machine goes through the flat thing and it just shoves the thing out like toothpaste.
Or there should be a mega PSA about like soften your machinery or have it be like a thing largely known. Like you can't send something chunky in an envelope. The envelope seals, therefore it should go. Okay, I got you. Here. Okay, maybe it still will because maybe the holidays made it slow.
Keep an eye out. Yeah,
okay, I think it was expensive. I didn't convert the yen.
You convert it to see what you were getting.
I was like, she'll like this. I think I sent you 2 things. I also sent my dad like a little Maneki Neko cat. It's not getting there. I sent my mom a little washcloth with a snake on it because it's the year of the snake.
I'm so sorry. This is so sad.
I was going to send you cookies, but I was like, I'm not fucking spending more on shipping than the cookie was worth.
I know. That's what's tough. Well, nothing's coming from me because I was like, you know what sucks? I was thinking about this when I worked for you. I was like, I know what she's into. I know what she likes. I can listen to it. Now I'm like, I don't know what Eliza's into now. I don't know what she's doing over there.
One of the greatest gifts of all was the reusable lint remover that you gave me that doesn't have little sheets. It's just a piece of cloth and it's great. It's a great gift.
I can't top that, but
I didn't really get a ton of gifts and I'm fine with that. I don't want anything.
Can I tell you something? PJs.
I see your PJs.
I got these from my parents. And then I changed into them at Christmas. Everyone else was wearing their street clothes. And by everyone else, I mean both my parents were wearing jeans and shoes and jackets inside. And I changed into PJs and was like, what's up? Who wants to give me snacks?
Cool. They're like, it's our almost 40-year-old daughter.
I know. Like
in pajamas midday.
They were like, so you're going to leave before 9, right? Because we go to bed. And I'm sitting there at 7, like.
They wanted to have sex. They wanted Christmas sex. They wanted you gone. Sorry. I saw this thing the other day that was like, there are enough clothes on this planet right now to clothe the next 6 generations. And when I go to a place like a Home Goods or something and you see just the exponential overstock of stuff and how much, and especially at the holidays, I know it sounds like such a punk rock rant to be like consumerism during Christmas, but for the most part, it is just garbage. Like most of the stuff at your office, White Elephant, Secret Santa, like it's just garbage from Amazon that you actually don't want. And it breaks my heart. So I was very serious in telling people like anything I want, I already bought. I don't want this like $15. And I say that low price point because it's garbage. It's polyester garbage.
Right. It's not going to last.
I'm sorry. And I'm so over the like, don't shame people who can't afford. Then I'm not talking to you. Yeah. I'm talking about endlessly regifting the same shitty bottle of red wine that no one wants to drink, the same polyester pajamas, the same stinky candle, the same mug gift set, pre-popped popcorn wrapped in cellophane. Like it's just so much. And I will take it on the chin with this one. I couldn't sleep the other night, so I went in my bathroom. I'm like, I'm going to organize some of this stuff. The amount of products that I own. And I realize that all the times, like that I rebuy stuff and I forget that I have it. So I am culpable. I am part of the problem. And a lot of this stuff is free. So you don't really realize, because I'm like, well, I'm not buying it. Nobody should own this many Frederick Fekkai dry shampoo bottles. Like you don't even realize it. You just amass it. Yeah. The amount of lotions and oils, because we've created this scarcity mindset of like, if I don't get it now, then I won't have it for later. We're going to run
there's
out.
A sale. Yeah.
You don't need it. And then things expire. And so anyway, so this is not to make you feel bad. This is to say, if someone like me, who does my best to be environmentally friendly and conscious, saving every bit of gift wrap to reusing bags, if someone like me can end up with this much garbage, then of course the average person, of course, stands no chance. So just being mindful about it, I think helps. Like, and it actually requires just like saying no to stuff. And it's hard, especially when it's free, especially when it's gifted to you, or especially when you feel that you need it. But I just realized like how many dry shampoos, how many hair growth serums, vitamins, moisturizing masks, and it's so much plastic. And I just feel real awful here, the start of 2025. But I'm going to be better. We're going to do less, and we're going to purge more and not replenish. That goes for closet, dishes, weight, everything.
2025 is the year of the purge.
Thin snake. The year of the purge. And we hope to be bringing you more live episodes. We're going to. And we're going to get it to a place where we have a schedule and you know to expect those live YouTube episodes. And in the meantime, we're going to keep delivering you this hot pod.
Yeah.
Hot potty.
And you're all participating nicely. Good work, community.
I love it. I love our Venmo, our Patreon. And I love that people. And I love seeing men pop up that are like, I'm doing this, I'm listening on my shift. You are welcome here.
Yeah. It is shocking, but it thrills me every time. I'm like, oh, a man.
What's crazy to me is the amount of people that I've heard say that they like men, like celebrity male podcasts and then they exalt them for like, yeah, they just do like deep dives into like their vulnerability about like addiction or sexual assault and awful things. I'm like, oh, you mean the things that women talk about all the time? So men get to be famous because they got in touch and decided that they weren't afraid of looking gay if they talked about their feelings. But women are over here talking about trauma 24 hours a day, being vulnerable and crying and open. And we're just getting called bitches. Got it.
We talk about dead pets all the time on this show.
Okay, I had a miscarriage. I talked about it. And no one was like, wow, we should really give her a platform.
Well, that was my bad because I didn't name the episode like Eliza's miscarriage.
Re-release it. Talk about re-releasing.
We'll re-release that.
Let's do it.
Find it. For a long time, people would reach out and be like, which episode was that in? Because I want to re-listen because that episode means a lot to people when they find it. And that was my bad. I didn't
We'll find it. Or if you know it, folks, if you have it saved.
Yeah, messages and I'll re-release it and call it Eliza's Miss. Although then that's triggering.
Enough with the triggering. Enough with the triggering, okay? We are adults. And if you get triggered, you got triggered. But that is your unresolved bullshit. That has nothing to do with me. Like in my last video where I went to Home Goods and I was like an influencer, the whole thing is funny. And also funny, I have a joke because there's a Stanley and it has like a little rope. I'm like, here's a Stanley with rope in case you want to take your own life. And some girl is like, it was funny until you made that joke. I'm like, and then it got hilarious. Like she's like working on taking my life back. And I'm like, so you are taking your life. You still are taking your life. I'm over it. I'm over the like, how dare you make your art, but I was uncomfortable. Then don't fucking listen.
You just told your children not to scream out there. This is real mixed
it's
messages.
No, it's my house. And mommy gets to do a lot of things you don't get to do. Like not apologize when I fart.
You make them apologize.
No, I don't make them apologize. No.
If they had to apologize and they don't know that that's weird, so they're just at school and they do like a silent one and they're like, sorry, I farted. My daughter would let everyone know.
If my daughter had to apologize when she farted, she would only ever be in timeout. Rootsin' and tootsin'. Folks, let's get to the bread and butter of this show. The ice cold, red hot advice.
Ice cold, red hot. Okay. Hi, Iliza and Emily. Saw Iliza for the third time last night. This was in December 7th, so I don't know when that was. Had an amazing time. Splurged to get VIP passes. It was totally worth it to finally meet you.
Thank you.
I am writing in to get your advice on a friendship, and I apologize in advance because this is a gross one. I have known my friend, we can call her Sarah, for nearly 10 years. We are currently 29. We've been very close from the start, seeing each other multiple times a year, even after I moved a few hours away. In September, she came to stay for a night while she was on her way home from a work trip. We went to a few breweries, then came home and made dinner together. I wasn't really drinking at the time, so I only had one drink compared to her 6+. After we went to bed, she woke me up by calling and texting me, which was odd because she was staying in my guest room. I went down the hall to find she had vomited all over the room. My carpet and walls were covered in what can only be described as a gallon of vomit.
No, she made exorcism.
She made no attempt to make it to the bathroom right next to the bedroom, nor did she clean up after herself. She simply moved to the couch, dry heaved a few times, and went back to sleep while I attempted to clean the carpet. She left the next day and, to be fair, said she was so sorry, but made no other efforts to rectify what she did, even after I let her know I'd need to get the carpets professionally clean. Now, I attach a screen grab of the text. So,
that was the vomit. I was like, I'd love to see it.
Oh, no. So the person texted her at 12:20 a.m. This was on a Monday at 12:20, so they'd been out Sunday. Okay. Help. Then SOS vomit emoji. Okay. So then later that day, hey, just want to let y'all know I made it home. I'm so sorry about last night.
Wait, can I say something?
Yeah.
I think there's something so sad about someone volunteering, like, just letting you know I made it home. Like, okay, no one cared. No one asked. It's one thing if I'm like, let me know you got home.
Right.
Like, you're a grown woman. Just letting you know. Even I puked everywhere. I'm so safe, you guys. I'm so safe.
I just can't. Well, we can talk about it in a minute. I can't get over this text, but this person is just like, I made it home okay. It's like, okay, well, you destroyed my home. So our person says, glad you made it. Sorry for the later response because they didn't reply to this. This timeline is very telling. Barfer texted at 4:22 p.m. Our person replied back the next day at 7:50 a.m.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah.
Glad you made it. Sorry for the late response. I stayed extra hours at work and crashed as soon as I got home. LOL.
I had to go rent a hazmat suit to clean up your vile vomit.
Pissed. No need to apologize for being sick. I hope you're feeling better. Definitely going to have to get the carpet cleaned professionally, though. And then the face where the thing is smiling, but it has a sweat drop on above its eye. After many attempts with the handheld cleaner, the smell is still lingering. Barfer replies, oh no. And then the emoji where it's covering the eyeballs. My whole body is sore from that experience.
Oh my God.
So that's the text. Then it says the rest of the email. There have been other instances in the past where she has not been considerate of myself and others, but this was the final straw for me. Now for the question. Our birthdays are both during the holidays, so we always spend the weekend after New Year's together to celebrate them belatedly. She's been messaging me about coming to see her for our birthdays, but I honestly don't want to go. Do I come clean? No pun intended. That how she addressed vomiting in my house bothered me. I realized I could have been more direct by asking her to help clean my carpets or pay to have them cleaned, or do I just make up an excuse not to go and hope this friendship fades into the distance? Thanks for the advice, Anonymous. Now, Eliza, the first thing that truly I need us to discuss is that the person was in there exorcisting, and they pulled out their phone and they text their friend in the next room, help, SOS.
That's okay. That's okay. Like your body's hurting. Like that's okay if you are so sick and you don't have the energy to get up, or you're that drunk and you're just like, I'm not sure what's going on. Like I that doesn't bother me at all.
I maybe because I'm imagining instead of going to the bathroom, they're standing there in the room texting like, yeah, exactly.
She's upside down walking down the stairs backwards like, LOL,
right. Did our question asker need to be more direct? Now, I think either of us, if we barfed in someone's home and they said I'd have to get it professionally cleaned, I would be like, send me the bill.
Immediately. I understand in the moment her not being fine. Let's say she was really sick.
So sick.
Fine. Let's say you're really sick and in the moment you can't help clean it up. You wake up the next day and you're like, let me get a scrub brush. Now, I wonder, were you saying, I don't think you were like, oh my gosh, no, I've got it. It's
right,
totally
go
fine.
Lay down.
How much did you excuse it? It's tough because we're like, how come you couldn't read my mind and offer? This girl is thinking like it's not a big deal. And you're like, it actually was.
Yeah.
There is a version where you're being a little dramatic and a little bit got on the wall and you could wash it off, whatever. But if you really feel that you're going to have to get this professionally cleaned, this is not about that misstep. You are tacking this on to receipts, to an itemized receipt of other times where like, you're like, I'm not your keeper. I'm not your boyfriend. I'm not your sister. So I don't have to put up with this. And we all know the story of me and having someone like that in my life that like, it was always about them getting drunk, taking care of them, dealing with them. This girl didn't apologize. And quite frankly, at 30, I mean, you're 29. I know we always round up. It's the worst. At 40, you don't want to see what's in store when you guys have this birthday and she inevitably gets more wasted than you because you know it's not the first time. And then you're taking care of her. I think you don't deserve, and I wish someone could have said this to me, but I think especially when we're younger women, I can tell that neither of you are married. When your friends are your relationships and you've been friends for 10 years, just because I saw this dumb thing that was like, if you've been friends for 10 years, you'll be friends forever. Untrue. That is you met at 19 and the rules were different then. You are well within your right to say to her, hey, I have to let you know, like, I thought it was really, you don't have to say out of bounds. You don't have to do like pseudo-psychological talk, but you can be like, you threw up everywhere and you left me to clean it up. You never acknowledged it. I mentioned that I had to get a professional cleaner. And then she'll be like, why didn't you just tell me? And you'll be like, because it was uncomfortable. And I thought you were maybe going through something because you weren't attuned to how much work this would be for me. And she's going to get upset because she's probably a narcissist. And I'd hate to use that word because I sound like a girl that just wants to be dramatic. But to not have the wherewithal, even as a young, dumb girl, to be like, oh my God, let me help the next day. You don't want to sign up for more of this. So either call her and be like, and it just kind of hurt my feelings because I felt like we're best friends or we're really good friends and you just didn't think about my feelings or my home or anything like that. Because the question is like, and you could write this in an email too, but I think an email, she'll just be like, wow, or she won't write back. But if you say it, you're like, and I didn't know, like what's going on? Do you want to be friends with her? If she had volunteered to clean it up, would you still be waiting for the straw that broke the camel's back? Because I can think of friends where I'm not waiting for anything. And even if they fucked up, I would never be like, well, that was it. I'd be like, well, I don't have a running tab because you don't do things that bother me.
Yeah.
So in deep down, are you kind of like relieved because you're like, I really don't want to hang out with her anymore? But you are within your right to not want to spend. You'd be like, you could even say to her, like, because you're probably going to drink on your birthday. Like, I'm sorry, the last time we got drunk, the last time we went out drinking, you got so drunk that you threw up everywhere, didn't offer to help clean it up, didn't offer to help pay for it. And then she'll be like, wow, so you're judging me. So now I have to walk on eggshells. And that is her deflecting and not taking responsibility. Tell her how you feel and be like, I just don't want to sign up for another day of that. Because for you, this is this like emotional grab bag of like, how is she going to mess up and how am I going to be left holding the bag? So say it, be done with it. But the problem is if she fully apologizes, which she won't, what do you do then? And then it's like, so now she has to like prove to you on your birthday that it just sounds like you have evolved past this relationship.
Yeah.
I have had a lot to drink in my life and a lot at once, and I've never uncontrollably vomited. I really think that she did that on purpose.
How fun is it all? Like, how are you having a good time? You're out with your friend. They have one drink and you have 6 plus. That's
6?
not like, I could see having like 3 because maybe you have a fun drink and then you have a drink with it. But to have 6 plus, you're trying to get somewhere. I don't know where you're trying to get.
You're trying to make you someone else's responsibility. Typically, you hear about men doing that. Like, I peed in the closet. I fucked up someone's house. I'm sorry. We're going to say it's deliberate. I understand throwing up out of bed.
Yeah.
But then to like spin around the room and like,
and then go to the couch still dry heaving. What if more had come out on the couch?
Yeah,
now you go to the bathroom.
It's in all of my shoes. It's under my mouse. You puked into every little jar. You opened up my Ziploc bags. You puked into my coat pockets. You're telling me this was an accident? I don't like this.
Right.
Girl.
I don't either.
You're done.
You don't have to
make other plans. Be done.
If you already made plans to see her, let this be the last time. Yeah. All right, let's go to the other end of this, which is my friend breaking up with me? Hi, Pod Squad. Longtime fan and listener here. My question is my friend breaking up with me? For context, I've known this friend for 10 years, and 2 years ago, I was the maid of honor in her wedding. I made a mistake at the wedding when she asked me to drive her mom home, and I complained, which I have apologized for and regret profusely. I thought we were okay as I visited her for a few days last year, and it seemed normal. I love her dearly, but lately I've been getting the feeling that she's drifting away from me. There's physical distance between us as I've been living in Scotland and she's in Boston, but I recently moved back to the East Coast, so we're only a couple of hours apart now. I've suggested meeting up or going on girls' trips, and every time I get a non-committal answer that she's busy or has travel plans already, also text her and not going to reply for days. We used to be really close, but now I feel like she can't be bothered. Should I try reaching out and ask her what's this all about, or should I accept that some friendships aren't meant to last a lifetime? No need to keep me anonymous. I'm Kat in Connecticut, a location too. Kat wants to know the answer.
Got a geotag and everything. Kat, it's funny that you wrote in with this because I've been thinking about this lately, and I've been thinking about the people in my life that reach out, whether just to reach out, and I know why people reach out, whether it's career-wise to like be like, hey, happy holidays, which I never really need, or the friend that's like, let's do something, especially as we get older. It sounds like, yeah, right, this woman got married, right.
2 years ago.
Well, she is preoccupied. And because you don't live near, it's not easy. I mean, I have friends who live nearby that I never see. Life just changes. And I know that as single women, you're going to revolt and vomit. And you're like, how can you say that as if being single isn't important? There's another person in her life. Maybe they're trying to have a baby. Maybe they've got family stuff. She's got a job, but she has that best friend now that lives with her, in addition to friends in her immediate vicinity. She is done with you. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that you're not a priority because it's a bit too much. And when we're younger, we tend to throw things away. And when we're out of ignorance, and when we're older, we tend to throw relationships away because they're not convenient. But I think about, and you can do this exercise too, think about the times in your life that you didn't want to make room for someone and the excuses you gave them. And you think like, how come they can't get the hint? Like I've said no, or I don't know, like 6 times in a row. And here it's happening to you. And you're like, well, let's try something else. She doesn't want to be rude. It maybe has nothing to do with you, or she just got the ick from that one night and she wrote into this podcast and I was like, ditch her. Do not try to hold on to people who do not want to make space for you. That's it. I hate that I said make space, but I've gotten it both ways. I've been the person that's been like, we should do it. And then someone's always non-committal and I'm like, oh, they're just busy. And I've also many times been the person on the other end where I'm like, okay, I don't want to be having this conversation or this text exchange or going to get coffee or having to say yes and then canceling it. Like, I just don't care.
I'm very curious about this incident with the mother because
Yeah, what's up with that?
so you were there having a good time at the party and she was like, "Hey, can you go take my mom home?" Now, Eliza, is that a bridesmaid's duty? Like, you call your mom an Uber, right? You don't make someone else having fun at the party. Your bridesmaids aren't your indentured servants for the day.
They are.
Are they?
They are. I mean, mine weren't. You were. No, mine weren't. But why did she ask you? She either asked you because you were the most reliable or she wanted you out of there. Like, she's the one that she knew she could say that to. It doesn't even matter because she asked a weird thing. You said no, right? And then apologized, or you did eventually?
She complained about it. So maybe she did it, but was like bitching. And it's like, it's an honor to drive my mother home.
To be honest, like, you invited me to a party. Like, we're drinking. We're at a party. My job, I'm not the party planner. Like, I have to leave the party. Like, what was the point of all this? No, I hear that. It can go either way. But it doesn't matter because even if it doesn't matter because you did apologize. I'd be interested to know the nature of the apology and what the issue was. Like, there's something gnarly there. Either way, you left a bad taste in her mouth. And let's say she totally forgave you. There's just no room. She's busy.
Yeah.
So give yourself a break. You don't have to be a bad person. There's just it doesn't work for her.
Yeah.
It sucks. It hurts. And you know what? You want to send her a Christmas card every year, but you are putting in all this effort and you're getting nothing back. So take the hint.
Yeah.
Take the hint.
Yeah. All right. Let's answer a question about other cultures, which will be great for us. Help. A month ago or so, my Filipino mother and stepdad came over to spend the night. We told her we were going to make dinner for them. There would only be 5 of us. She ended up showing up with 2 coolers worth of additional food that would ultimately end up staying with us. My partner said it was a bit disrespectful for her to do that, but I also grew up where mothers from another culture show up with a ton of food. Filipinos love to cook. We're going up to visit her for the night next week. And my partner...
Have you ever heard of a culture where it's like the moms hate cooking? They don't cook.
General white. Caucasian.
I think that's not true.
Because in my mind, what the stereotype would be like, they make a shrimp in a jello, right? Like 50s housewife style.
What are you talking about? You are such a self-loathing Caucasian person.
No,
so you're talking about all the people in Minnesota who make all the hot dishes, all the white Southern women.
I'm just thinking of different stereotypes, and my stereotype for white women is like a 50s like ad in a Good Housekeeping, weird. Like make a jello mold.
So your image of a domestic woman hasn't been updated in 60 years, 70 years?
You know what my grandma would make for me? Brussels sprouts and walnuts. Those are 2 separate items. I'm just saying. I'm just saying we don't cook a lot here, but okay.
Oh, hello.
Mommy, can I have a
What?
card?
What?
I want a card.
You want a card? I told her if she cleaned up, she could have a card. Hold on a second. I bought myself a stack of colored note cards for my wall to keep. Hold on. What?
I want to pick which one I want.
Okay, here's the color options. They're just like Post-it notes that are different colors, and it's her passport, and I have to write her name on it.
I want this one.
You don't want that one?
No,
What color do you want? She doesn't want this one errant piece of paper that isn't attached to anything.
I don't want that one.
Okay, which one do you want?
Green.
You want green? Okay, give it to me. I'll write your name on it. What does that say?
Sierra.
Okay, peel it off.
Happy face.
Oh, you want me to do a happy face? I'm sorry.
Happy face and heart.
Okay, baby. I'm making a podcast, so you have to go. You peeled it?
Saddest thing to tell your child.
Take your Can you shut the door?
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I did promise her a passport.
Okay.
So I gave
She
it to her.
cleaned, but you didn't check if she cleaned. She could have been lying.
I don't care. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, so this Filipino family's making a lot of food. And our question asker says, we're going up to visit her for the night next week. And my partner made a joke about how we should bring 2 coolers worth of food and leave it there also. Did my mom overstep by bringing all that food to us? We are very much of the mindset of not being wasteful with what we make and try to eat everything in its entirety. He's much better at that than I am. I talked to my brother and he said my partner needs to understand that's how she rolls. I agree with that.
Don't make a mountain out of a molehill.
She brought you 2 coolers of food.
She brought you 2 and now you have coolers forever. Eat it, give some of it away. It wasn't done passive aggressively. Culturally, this is what's done. It would be different if they overstepped. They like ordered you new furniture in a color you didn't like. If you love cooking, bring something, but don't do it deliberately to be like, and now I'm bringing you 2 coolers. It would be different if you had said, please don't bring anything. We have no room. We're going out of town. I'm sure there's a German word for it. There is something that makes you anxious as a human when people give you like too much food to handle, like to your house, when you're asking people to take leftovers away. Like there's this feeling of like, oh my God, it's all going to go bad. We don't want things to go to waste. I'm sure there's a way to eat that food or freeze it. That's a thing that an option people don't consider. But it was a genuine, albeit wasteful gesture, and our parents are not going to change. So to do something passive aggressive back will just make everyone a little uncomfortable. Or you'll feel worse if she's like, oh my God, thank you. And then you're like, I was trying to be a jerk. You're welcome.
The bigger problem right now is like the partner just being like, ugh, it's like, sorry, that's what you have to put up with. My mom brings us food. Like if that's the worst thing she's doing, pretty well off.
It's tough because we always get questions about like my in-laws buy tons of, Gilmore Girls. My in-laws buy tons of presents for the kids and it's always full. Yes, there's an overabundance of waste in this world. Eat the food, freeze it, whatever. He's going to have to get over it because I promise his parents aren't perfect either. Yeah. But if that's your biggest problem, I think you're doing okay. And try next time being like, please don't bring anything. We had so much food last time and it was great. Just try to bring less. Mm-hmm. Because it's also like, is this a gift if it's an inconvenience? But I don't have parents from another culture. So I don't really have like those sets of rules set up where you like can't say anything.
Right.
My dad's from another planet, but I don't know if different culture.
I feel like if he brought 2 coolers of food, it would be that he was cooking it for him to eat, perhaps.
I'm doing steaks.
Yeah.
I'm doing steaks. All right.
Am I asking too much? Dear Iliza and Emily, I'm a 34-year-old female from Michigan. I recently started taking Lexapro for panic attacks because for some reason my brain was like, okay, too much stress. For 3 weeks prior to me starting the medication, I was having panic attacks almost every day. My partner for the last 8 years started to seem like they were an inconvenience to her. The more I talked to her about it, the more she kept saying, knock it off. You're going to be fine. Fast forward to the night I started taking said medication. I ended up calling 911, honestly thinking I was having a heart attack. I couldn't get a hold of her. It wasn't until I was in the ambulance all the way to the hospital she finally called me back. She acted worried when I told her to meet me at the hospital, but as soon as she got there, it was again as if it were an inconvenience, telling me, see, it's not your heart. Like, obviously, if I didn't think it was, I wouldn't be sitting in a hospital bed. After that night, I sat down with her asking if we can start sharing responsibilities in the house instead of me coming home from work and getting overwhelmed with everything that needs to be done before she gets home. I'm just asking for a little help while I'm rebuilding myself after being broken. And I'm told stress is a part of life. It happens. Well, no kidding. I have a high stress job. I just need a break sometimes. I don't feel like I'm asking for the world, but maybe I'm not asking correctly.
That's it.
This partner sounds like they suck.
I don't know. And before we even knew it was a woman, I could tell you were in a relationship with a woman because there's a lot of emotion happening here. There is. I can't answer this really because it's too vague. I don't know the job. I don't know your partner. I don't know how, and pardon the usage of this word, hysterical you do get. And your partner might be like, hey, like nothing is happening right now. You're losing it and I have to live with you. And that's stressful for your partner. Because I don't know, are you clinically depressed? Okay, fine. You're so on this girl's side. You're like, I am on the lesbian side with the issues. because
With anxiety.
you love an understanding lesbian. You love being one. You do.
Did you see someone wrote in like, I love that you talked about how your lesbian friend had all those foster animals in their card.
I was going to tag Michelle's wife.
Yeah.
Michelle doesn't have social media. Okay.
No. So yes, this person was having panic attacks every day. And the wife is like, I'm over this. Or the partner was like, I'm sick of this. So the first woman's having these attacks every day finally has such a bad one. She thinks she's having a heart attack. Goes into the doctor.
No, finally takes the medicine.
No, I think went into the hospital, thought they were having a heart attack. Now is on Lexapro because they're like, no, you're not having a heart attack. You're having panic attacks every day. You're insanely anxious. So they were not diagnosed or medicated prior for all those weeks of having panic attacks, it sounds like. So now, okay, we've gotten diagnosis. We're fighting it. So now it's like, what do we do to lower stress? But yeah, I'm sure when you were doing it and not going to the doctor, if I'm your partner, I'm just like, well, you're having a flip out every day. Let's do something about this.
Okay.
But now you've done something.
No. We're not looking at what caused those panic attacks. Like what happened all those weeks ago? Like why these weeks versus in the rest of my life? Something has shifted. What, Emily?
I would just guess they have a high stress job. The job is getting more, it's towards the end of the year. So work gets more stressful. And it sounds like maybe the partner is like beating them because if everything's not cleaned when they come home, they're scared.
I think look, there is a version where you're not asking for what you need. Yeah. And maybe you're not feeling like yourself around your partner. You need to look at, before we go medicating ourselves, you need to look at the root cause of that. Now, maybe you were already depressed or already had anxiety and then something amped it up. I feel like maybe it's not just work, but I don't know what you do, okay? There's also the version where it doesn't have to be high stress and you make it high stress. I am not good with anxiety and stress. I'm a bad meditator. I have intrusive thoughts. I am not good with these things, but I'm not a depressed person, so perhaps I'm able to handle it okay. So I'm not your psychological wellness guru, but I will say your partner is annoyed because you are making these issues your personality. Everything is about your mental health and well-being. I have anxiety. I'm having anxiety now. I'm calming down. I'm talking about it. And it's just like a lot of that. And from an outside perspective, someone's like, what is going on? Nothing is happening. So what needs to happen in this relationship, one, you need to get clear on what it is that is upsetting you, on where this is coming from. And you, regardless of your relationship, need to figure out a way to either meditate, breathe, take medication, but get to the root of that with or without a partner. You also need that help. So I don't know why everything has to get done, or maybe you're putting that on yourself and your partner's like, we can walk the dogs when we get home. Like, no, it needs to be done before you. You need to have a serious come to Jesus, not just with your partner, but with yourself. And you need to get to a place where you're like, can I talk about this with you? Will you work with me? Or are you so annoyed that maybe this isn't the partner for you? It's a combination of you being dramatic. And I'm not saying you're hysterical and crazy. I'm just saying another person can only take so much of someone's like unseen illness. It would be different if you were like hemorrhaging from your brain, it was coming out of your eye. And it's like, I can see that pain. But when it comes to stuff in your head, it just takes a really patient person who perhaps has been through it to empathize.
You never really understand like someone else's thing like that at all.
And by the way, like even any pain, living with someone who is in physical or mental pain still weighs on the other person, and they can feel bad and they can feel so sorry, but it is tiring. You can ask anyone. It's not about not loving someone. Anyone living with someone who's sick, whether it's cancer or an injury, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It sure as hell isn't sexy.
Yeah.
And this woman your partner is like constantly having to talk you off a ledge. And I promise you every day it's the same story with no evolution. And it's the same. Her thing is like, you're getting stressed about the same things we're addressing every day and you're not taking steps to fix it. You're just talking about it, which makes it worse. Nothing to fear but fear itself. The anxiety you're about to face exacerbates everything. So lay it all out and be like, if I'm having a panic attack, and that's a tough thing too, because I think, especially for women, it's like, I'm having a panic attack. It's like, are you? Like, what is it? And let's say you really are. You need a partner that understands what that's feeling like for you.
Or is willing to understand. Yeah.
But you also need to acknowledge to your partner, like perhaps this isn't the coolest thing. Or maybe they come home exhausted too, and you're already like all worked up. When you come home, people want to be relaxed, not be like hit with a ton of issues or anything like that. And you can all complain about your day, but if you're making the same complaints and spinning your wheels every day, that person is not going to hold a lot of space for that because they're tired too.
That's why the 50s
listen
housewife is waiting with slippers and a drink when the husband comes home.
Did you say
He's
shrimp and
tired from his
walnuts?
day.
And Jello. That's totally different. That's a man expecting a woman to do the job of 5 people and be smiling ready with a steak and a blowjob when he gets home from having 6 martinis and fucking his secretary. Not the same at all. You're like, I would love it. Love to fuck my secretary. I would love 6 chilies, spicy margs.
Not spicy. No.
No, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
You know I wouldn't drink a spicy one.
You're like, eggnog is spicy enough for me. My grandma.
Okay, you ready for Cobbs?
It's a talk with a Cobb.
No.
I think we owe them one more because we squabbled for so much at the beginning.
Okay, we did chit chat. Okay.
Mm-hmm. We didn't squabble. We babbled.
No, we
nibbled.
Hello, AIE crew. I've been working as a behavior specialist for the last 3 years with a company. Last year, I got a significant bonus. I was so excited about the bonus this year. The day came. I opened my account, checked my account to find a way less amount, less than half of what I got last year. I'm constantly told my work is good, retention rate, parents are pleased with communication, blah, blah. Do I email my boss and ask for feedback on my job performance or I just let it go? Of course, I would make this a professional email coming from a place of curiosity, not blame. Such a therapist thing to say, LOL. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
I don't know how bonuses work. Are they based on like revenue of the company? Like, is it possible the company isn't doing well and they just didn't have it this year? Because I didn't get gifts from people that I got gifts from last year.
Yes, it depends. Some bonuses I think are based on your output. Some are based on the company's output. Some are like at my company, I got a bonus based on the company was really successful this year. And then I got a percentage of my salary. So everyone's bonus was different based on their salary. So
yeah, can you ask someone else who does exactly what you do? And can you look at your own numbers? I don't know how you get paid. I'm assuming it's just a regular salary.
mm-hmm.
So now I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's based on whatever your company took in, but it feels like it's a behavioral therapist. So it's a therapist office. Is it a nonprofit? I don't.
Right. I'd say yes, first, because I immediately was like texting with my friends at work. So you get that bonus? And we're all like not saying how much you get, but we're like, yeah, it's about like a week and a half of pay. Yep. It's about a week and a half of pay. Right. So we're like trying to, because you don't want
Right.
to say it. Do that. But also I think you cannot ask your boss like, yo,
Yeah.
why does my bonus suck? But you could totally be like, if you don't have a review process, it's the end of the year, just be like, hey, would love to set up a review and talk about my performance this year. I'm really happy about how it went. Would love to look forward to 2025. Like you can totally do that bullshit and not say anything about the bonus, but you're never
Yeah.
going to get an answer. They're not going to be like in the review, like, you know what? Now that we're talking about how good you did, we're going to give you more money.
Yeah,
No.
I know that's what you're like
No.
secretly hoping for. I mean, I think I gave more cash last year and this year I gave gifts. Like it's a bonus. It's not a requisite. And sometimes it's based on performance. Sometimes it's based on the company.
Oh,
Sometimes it's just
no.
nice.
I was going to give my mail people money. I need to go get money
No,
out.
don't do that. Your mail people?
The mail people have to deliver a lot of stuff to my house.
I
But there were
give
like
them
3
snacks,
of them.
Snacks and drinks.
I thought about setting up one of those little coolers.
I did that. It's not a cooler. It's a shoebox, but in it I put waters
Yeah.
and Red Bulls.
Yeah.
And I put a little note and my neighbors were like, wow. I was like, that's because we don't live in a place where people are kind to each other.
Right. You're in Los Angeles. Well, anyway, I knew this question would really get Iliza excited to talk about corporate work structure.
Yeah. I mean, I think between the two of us, there's your answer. And, just something to keep in the back of your mind. If they ask you to do something extra this year, it's like, okay, well, what am I going to get?
That's the other thing is, yeah, use this to decide, is your pay without that bonus worth the effort you put in?
Yeah, think about it. But also think back to the year prior.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? So just think about it. But yeah, you're not going to get the answer you want, but you can do some sniffing, some light forensic detective work about the financials.
I love having just a little workplace like not even drama, but just a little piece, a nugget of info where I can be like, what's going on with this? Especially because I'm not in the office. I work remotely and everyone else is there. And I'm like, you hear anything about this? What's going on?
Yeah.
I like to gather facts.
I like a little gossip session. That's what I like. A little bit.
You want a cob?
It's the top with a cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
Let's nibble on some cob.
Oh.
I
Did
don't
you
have
have any
mine.
cobbler while you were celebrating the holidays?
No.
I didn't
But
either.
I do enjoy, please don't buy these for me. C's Candy makes a C's peppermint patty that my mother-in-law bought one year at Christmas, and I inhaled them. And so now she buys them every year. And so normally I don't eat a ton of candy, but I eat like 5 on Christmas.
That's a good day.
It was a good day. It was very sweet. I fell asleep. I had a glass of champagne in the morning, and I have not day drank since like my 20s. And I woke up and everyone was gone because they had all gone into the kitchen so no one would wake me up. And I was like, oh my God, you didn't
Did anyone put a little blanket over you?
They did. And both dogs fell asleep on me.
Oh my God.
And they took a picture of me sleeping and I couldn't even post it because like it's, normally it's like, take a picture of me sleeping, babe. But I really was.
You were
was my-
really asleep.
It was my left side, which is less cute. So like I have like a little double chin and like my hair looks, but it was very cute. Petunia and Tianfu.
That's
Also
so
on me.
sweet. Okay, I'll read a fan bottom. When you're at a gift exchange of all adults and someone makes it really clear they don't like the gift they just opened, it always makes me feel so bad for the person who brought it.
Yeah. I actually happened to read that one on the Patreon.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, it's because people give fucking garbage. That's why. You're at a gift exchange. Someone's like, oh, where's that like random mug that I have sitting around? And they just throw it in there thinking like, well, someone else will want it. It's not goodwill. Like if you're going to be in a situation where you have to blind buy a gift, make it something that you would want. And at the very least, make it a Starbucks gift card. But don't, like, it's a popcorn bag. It comes with its own bags and a
You're
little
so
salt and pepper and something.
anti-popcorn today.
I was at Home Goods and there were so many bags of pre-pop popcorn, which I'm
It's all
sorry
stale.
is never good. Give me a
At
fucking
Home
break.
Goods. Yeah.
This narrative of like, I'm so busy and can't press a microwave button. Like that's you know how far that corn already had to travel?
I need to go see Nicole Kidman and Baby Girl this weekend,
know.
obviously.
I have the screener.
I'm so jealous I have to go to the theater.
You know what else I just saw, which was fantastic? Anora.
I haven't seen that yet either, but I'm about to get a screener for that because I'm a Film Independent member.
Okay.
But I need to go see Baby Girl in theaters. But I saw AMC sells like a $20 giant like trash bag of popcorn you can bring home with you. And I was like,
That's
do I
different.
do that?
That's different. That's not being shipped. You just bring it home. They popped it there.
Okay. My bottom is I was this morning looking at my credit card account to pay my bills. And I was like, I feel like I just paid a good chunk on this. I don't know why it's so high. Someone is using my credit card, but here's what sucks. I called in. They're looking into it. I'm scared I won't be able to prove it's not me because it's like shitty restaurants that are slightly better than the ones that I go to in a different part of Georgia. So it's in Georgia, but it's in Smyrna where I don't live. So I'm like, it's like Taco Bell, McDonald's, that's me. But then like Marco's Pizza, not me. Like Grand China Buffet, not me. Like it's slightly,
You're like
it's
every
like
third
sit-down
one is-
restaurants.
They're like, sure, Emily. You're like, no, my
Right,
taste
so-
isn't that bad.
I'm on the phone
Isn't
and
that
they just
good?
tried to pay their Verizon bill, which I don't have Verizon. So like, but
So you
they
canceled the
live
card,
here.
right?
So I called and they said that they're like cancel it. They're sending me a new one and that they're looking into that. They're investigating. But I'm like, how do I prove I didn't just go to this other city like an hour away and
You don't have
go
to
to
prove it.
restaurants?
You don't have to prove it.
Well, hopefully they can see my pattern of behavior. But then he's going through, he's like, so is this you? And I'm like, yes, that stupid thing is me. Is this you? I'm like, yes. I'm like, any of the fast food restaurants are me. Any of the real restaurants are not me.
Right. All the real food isn't me. You don't
Yeah.
have to prove it. And obviously, if you were lying, it would be credit card fraud. What's not on you, you don't have to prove it. What they have to do is prove that it was you. And they can't because you're not lying. So don't worry about it. Fuck
Well,
them. Who cares what a credit card company?
stressful.
They lose $15.
It was probably a few $100
pizza
like,
buffet.
and it started right after I got back from LA. So, because they were like, what about this chicken and beer? And I'm like, that's where I had breakfast at the LAX. Leave me alone
No,
after that.
was me. Okay.
That
So
was
this is
me.
really Just an audit of your shame.
Right. So that sucked. I had to call. That sucked. Now I have to wait. My credit card is
No.
no longer good. So I'm going to have to, that's the worst. I have to go in and like change because you're going to get one with like a new code. So I have to go to every site that's using that automatically and change it.
That was me at Bennigan's last outpost.
No, if it was like, that's the thing I said, I get my food from delivered. I don't go sit there. So anybody sitting at a real restaurant isn't me.
Right.
All right. That's my bottom. What's yours?
My bottom of the cob is culture shock is putting it it's too strong of a phrase but coming from Japan back to America, back to LA, everybody loves Tokyo. Everybody.
Yeah.
And you love it because it is so otherworldly. It's so unlike the United States. And it's not about the United States being good and one being bad, whatever. We consume Japanese culture and we're like, oh my God, I'd love to live there. I love the people, not realizing what a deeply repressed, broken, sad culture it actually is under the surface of all the incredible customer service and the shame-based systems that lead people to adhere to rules. Just like here in America, like it seems like everyone's doing great. We're all making money. It's like we have no health care. And this is deeply broken. We have school shootings. So every society has this, but I just think as Americans, we kind of, as tourists, not even Americans, you skim the top. But walking around Tokyo, feeling, not that I don't feel safe in LA, but feeling safe, knowing there's no guns, no one's going to steal anything. I could drop my wallet, it would be returned. Just that sense. And say the customer service, but just the one-on-one interactions, people taking deep, deep pride in every job they do. It's just like a quiet, more, not more civilized, but just like the way you'd want it to be. On the subway, they're quiet. When you walk upstairs, people believe in rules. So one side is for walking, one side is for standing, knowing that if you needed to get something done, you could say, excuse me, and people would listen to you.
This is your bottom?
My bottom is the culture shock of being jet lagged, but coming home and going from an organized walkway to going to Home Goods to make a video where people are crashing their fucking carts into you, all while trying to consume like the spirit of Christmas. And like, you're just anxious about getting out of a parking lot because it's like the fucking Wild West in the valley. Just the culture shock of, oh, that's right. I have to be on my toes because you never know who has a gun or who's fully crazy while like in pursuit of buying a ceramic polar bear stuffed with cheese wrapped in a popcorn bag and a Christmas candle. Like it's just that. It's just a big culture shock. And you yearn for that softer, more quiet, more reverence-based way of life.
Right. All right. Top of the cob from a fan. Making the green light when you really need to get somewhere or not, and the gleeful cackle that happens. That does feel very good.
Yeah, because there's that second where you're like, are you going to turn yellow? And you have that moment to start to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My top is almost a bottom, but it's a top. But I'll set the scene. I had to go get cavities filled this morning. And I found that out when I was at the dentist on, I guess, Monday maybe or something. Maybe last Friday. I don't know. Set the appointment for this morning early so that I could get it over with and not be dreading it all day because I am so scared of not the cavity filling, but the needle, the mouth needle. So last night I didn't sleep well. I was so worried about getting up this morning. I woke up a bunch of times nervous. I got up. I took I am given 10 Xanax a year for emergencies and they're 0.25 milligrams instead of like 1. Like they're the smallest possible dose. I only get 10 a year. And so I took one so that I would not pass out. I have to take it whenever I get a shot or I pass out. I have to take it. Okay. I'm so scared. My night was ruined. My mornings. I get there. They bring me in early and I'm like, oh my God. And the doctor looks and he's like, yeah, I was looking at your x-rays and I think these actually aren't cavities and we don't need to fill them today. So you can go. So like the top of the cob of being like,
now I'm high on Xanax and I'm just going to go home and enjoy my life.
There's no mouth needle. Oh my God. Like this is incredible. But also like, I was like, are you, should we do something anyway? I'm good. And he's like, no, you're good. Cause another doctor had looked at them and said cavities. And he's like, no, based on the last 3 years of x-ray, you're good. I'm like, okay.
But will they become cavities and you will need that mouth needle?
Well, he's like, do you floss every night? I said, no. And he
Gross,
said, how much?
Emily.
And I said, a couple times a week. And
No,
he's like, okay, do it every night. And I was
Yeah,
like,
do-
okay.
What are you, a fucking horse?
Eliza, you floss every night?
I floss every night religiously. Religiously, I do not miss a night of flossing.
Oh my God. Well, I'm going to have to floss to keep these two not cavities safe. But like,
I am not the exception. I am
thrill-
the standard. And you are below the standard. It's not like a freak thing that someone would floss every night.
night?
Every
Write in.
fucking night, all
Listeners,
day,
are you
every
really
day.
all? I brush my teeth every night.
people are going to judge you. And they're going to judge me for saying I judged you. You need to floss every night because you
Well-
eat every day. You monster.
And then I brush my teeth. But
No.
well, my top of the cob is I didn't get a mouth needle, but I also was like so suspicious of this man. I was like, so we're just going to watch that spot? He's like, yeah, you're good. And I'm like, okay. Like, did you just not want to do this today? Do you have somewhere to be?
Okay, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You need to floss every night. It will increase your risk not only for cavities, but periodontal rot
I know.
Gum
It's
disease?
connected to heart failure.
and the gum disease that causes gingivitis, which for some reason we won't name. We just call it the gum disease, like the artist formerly known as. The gum disease that causes gingivitis, which has to have a name. All right, well, good for you and your little triumph. Your little
It was
shared
really,
victory.
I just walked back out like, okay, I'll go home. I came home. That's why I put on my PJ shirt over my t-shirt, sat back
Listen,
down.
Modern floss is a scam because, and I'm talking to you, Oral-B, it always breaks because you have to get enough that you can wrap it around your fingers, which is a waste, and then it snaps and you're like, what do I do with these tiny pieces? But you got to floss every day. Even if you have to use your hair.
I could.
You
Do
have
you
thick hair.
use the stuff or do you use the sticks?
I definitely do not use the sticks. I cannot
Those
think
are
of
so
a
much trash.
so much trash. Floss already comes in this giant plastic hurt locker of a container, which you just need a spool, but floss your teeth. Okay. Mine is
right.
also somewhat medical. My top of the cob, I guess. I mean, obviously I had an incredible holiday season getting to be with the kids, and Ethan has like really come online and he's gigantic and
Oh, does he have a little personality now?
little personality, loves to laugh, is very content, very happy baby.
Does
We
he
call
think
him the
you're
dandy
funny?
man. What?
Does he think
Dandy
you're
man.
funny?
He does. And I know exactly how to make him laugh. And he has a gigantic butt, and I love washing it. It's kind of big tushy. But my top of the cob, I guess, is that I got an MRI on my head.
Oh,
My brain is fine.
for-
For my ringing.
So is there a verdict?
Nope. And that's kind of bad because you're like, well, what is it? The doctor thinks it's stress-based.
Probably.
Probably, but I guess it's nice to get an MRI and hear that you don't have anything wrong with your brain. And after this year of like a botched breast biopsy that was, I'd say traumatic, pretty awful, and
Pretty
zero
awful.
response from the RadNet fucking breast help imaging and parking center, talking stick, resort and arena, fucking women's prison clinic I had to go to. Fuck you guys forever. Getting an MRI, which for anyone that has to get them routinely, I'm sorry because they're loud, but I had it was like a 22-minute procedure and it is loud, but I just kind of zenned out and laid there. And it was cool because I knew exactly how long it was because I'm a comic and I know I have an internal clock and I know how long a set is. So like at the 15-minute mark, I was like, I bet that was about 15 minutes. I only have 7 minutes left.
That's so interesting. I never thought about that, about how you have to be aware of what's going on.
I know exactly what 7 minutes feels like. And I know what 45 minutes feels like, and I know what an hour feels like. So that's good. And
Yeah.
the weird thing about an MRI is you walk out and the tech is there and they look at the scan. They can't say anything to you because they're just a tech.
Right.
And so I was like, how's it looking? She was like, there's a brain there. And I was like, but it's like good, right? She's like, I can't say anything. I go, but it's pretty good. Like hoping she'd be like, yep, looks great. Like just whatever.
Right.
She wouldn't crack. And I was like, okay.
No, she's not falling for that.
No, not falling for that malpractice lawsuit. Folks, we have our much anticipated, and we're going to do episodes before this, but episode
Yeah,
show.
but you can buy tickets early.
If there's any left, I mean, that Vancouver date went. So I will be playing Vancouver on January 17th, and then I'm taking a little bit more of a break to kind of get creatively centered. And I will see you at the Key Bank State Theater in Cleveland, home of Hot Forever. We shot it there. And then the next day, I'm going to be at the Benedum Center in Pittsburgh Very much looking forward to that. And it will be February 22nd, which will be my birthday. I'm working on my birthday, folks. So send me cute coffee shops. And then we're taking a little bit of time, and then I'll see you in Toronto in March. We don't have to go into all these dates. But get your tickets for Pittsburgh and Cleveland at iliza.com/tour. And watch our, you know what, if you really want to do us a favor, watch our YouTube episode on loop. Just let it play on your computer.
There's 3, so
Watch
go
all
watch all
3.
of them.
Leave the room. And Happy New Year. Obviously, we only promote products on here that we think won't hurt anyone. So I hope you're using all of the products on here to feel better and get centered. I hope we turn a corner as humanity this year. But I think we've been hoping that since COVID. But I am glad to know that this podcast helps make people a little bit happier in this fucking snow globe of turd that has become our society. Turd globe.